Hello guys, welcome back to the live. So we're going to be talking about some altcoins. We're seeing a bit of a breakout. As you know, the past couple of days, we've been teeing up the coins that we like and why, and then also some of the price targets that we have. And now that we're seeing some breakout, I think it's a really good time for us to actually go ahead and kind of keep you up to date, I should say, on them. AJ, how are you today? That's first and foremost the most important thing. How is our sexy friend AJ doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well, thank you. As you said, we're getting these altcoin breakouts. They're great. What we want to see is a nice retest of the previous resistance and use it as support. So then we can get those entries in, and then hopefully we can bounce off that level, resetting those indicators. And as I said, bounce off that level and see some nice profits from those altcoins.
Make some money. Go to the moon.
Yeah.
That is what everyone wants. Anyway, so I'm going to quickly just bring us to the Fear and Greed Index. So it's looking a little bit, I guess weaker than it was on the last week. But we can see that pretty, I guess fairly successfully, it's remaining at these higher levels, which is good. So kind of putting a bit of confidence back in the market, really.
Yeah, it is looking good, and it's nice to see the fear and greed index increase a little bit, and sorry,
the Findex. Oh,
Index, fear and greed index. Yeah, it's looking good, and it's just putting a bit more confidence in that we might have established that bottom as well, because I showed that chart on the fear and greed index as well at the bottom.
You did. Well. Was it this one or was it further down?
No, it was that one there. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like a lot more data points, wasn't there?
Yeah, if you go on max.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was like, why does mine look so rubbish? Yeah, these clusters. That's really what's quite important, isn't it? Because whenever we have these clusters, it always kind of sets us up for a nice little run.
Yeah, and we've had dips below the 10 level on the fear and greed index before, but when we have had those little sharp spikes, those falling knives down below 10, we haven't actually established that bottom. But when we've had these clusters below 10, then we have established the bottom previously for Bitcoin. So it's just giving me some more confidence that we have established that bottom.
There we go. And just moving on to some of the altcoins. Obviously, we're going to start with like altcoin number one. Numero uno is obviously Ethereum. Whether it's actually classed as an altcoin, I guess, can be kind of put up for this, debate. But, essentially it is. But one thing that I think was quite interesting to note was whenever the Ethereum USD longs, and this is, typically from the whales, when these drop dramatically, there's a lot less buying pressure. And then with that, obviously, a lot less demand. So we end up with the price dropping to the downside. And then, Ethereum, again, having this massive drop, that then led to less demand. And so obviously, bomb. We have this afterwards. And again, here, and this little drop. I mean, I think maybe more so this is probably more like prominent. But we are seeing, a drop off. So the prediction might be that we see a movement to the downside. It's obviously, we don't really know, because this is going to be one thing that indicates, hey, hang on, we're going to have a bit of movement to the downside. But if we have a look now, like technically, what is it that the technical story tells us?
Well, the technicals on Ethereum are sort of indicating the same scenario as that chart has just showed there. So what we've looked at, I showed you this on Friday. We've seen this bearish divergence. We've had a bit of price action towards the upside. But as of yesterday, we did see some nice movement towards the upside, coming and testing this resistance level here between the sort of $1,710 level and $1,740 level approximately. Previously, major support. And if we go all the way back to 2021, we can see that it was also support and resistance back here as well. I have mentioned this level for a few days now, and it is a very important level. We can see that we did have a rejection from that level right here, and that was in confluence with this bearish divergence. We can see that we are testing it again. As of yesterday, we came into this resistance level again. as of today, it looks like we could get a rejection, but obviously there is almost 12 hours left of today's daily candle. So a lot can happen and we could break above this level, of course. But as that chart is saying, we are looking fairly bearish. When we've seen the longs decrease, we have seen another move towards the downside. And what we are seeing here, again, is another bearish divergence, if I'm correct, on Ethereum. So let's have a look at that there. So we have higher highs on the Ethereum chart right here. You can see the first high here and then the higher high there. If we pull up the RSI, what we can see is we are forming lower lows again on the RSI. So if we extend this a little bit, we can see that we are getting those lower lows on the RSI, momentum towards the downside. This is a textbook bearish divergence like we've seen. Let me just change this to the right color, bearish divergence. There we go. Like we've seen here, and we've had price action towards the downside. Not much price action towards the downside. This was around an almost 10% move. Not quite a 10% move, but we came close to a 10% move. So I do think if today's daily candle does close in the red, we are going to see another pullback for Ethereum. Now, if we see that pullback for Ethereum, then we are most likely going to come and test this support level here. Now, this support level here, you can see has been respected very well over the past few weeks, having two touches along this level and bouncing off it nicely. If we do break to the downside of this support level here, the first target I'll be looking at is $1,600, and the second target I'll be looking at is around $440 approximately, and that will most likely bring us down to this $1,400 level. So for Ethereum, it isn't looking too good. It looks like we could see the price pull back to around $1,400 if we do get this confirmed bearish divergence once again, and then we do break this support level here. So that's what I'm looking at for Ethereum. It coincides with this very important resistance level as well. It would mean a rejection from this resistance level. It's taken us, it's taken a lot for Ethereum to try and get above this resistance, and I think we need something very bullish to get us above this resistance level. And as of right now, there isn't too much out there that is going to push the price, for me anyway, is going to push the price above this resistance level. There is a possibility we could break above it, but for me, if we do close this daily candle in the red, the likelihood of it is we are going to come down, test this support level here. If we break that, then most likely come down to the $1,400 level again. But we just have to wait and see how today's daily candle closes.
Yeah, and also I'm just going to add into there. So obviously looking at how the week might pan out, I'm just going to quickly go through in terms of data, and then we'll come back and we'll have two more altcoins. So AJ, maybe you want to kind of think of two of the best altcoins and just give, kind of a recap over those. So we're looking next week. We're going to have, obviously, at the beginning of the week, Australia, Mexico coming out with some data. Then on the 10th, which is a Wednesday, we have inflation from China.
Your screen wasn't shared.
Oh, okay. Oh, one sec. Can you see it now? Okay, perfect.
Yes.
So China, Germany, United States, all coming out on Wednesday with their inflation data. So this is going to be a very, very big day. Obviously, for the Eurozone, Germany is the biggest economy there. China, obviously, second largest in the world, and the US. We all know how much that is affected by data that comes out. So expecting inflation to kind of fall down, but core inflation to rise, which, kind of nods to more of a higher rate hike from the Fed later on when they do finally come back. And then towards the end of the week, a little bit from China, PPI from the US, and then we have the UK and their GDP and the consumer sentiment coming out on the Friday. So just so you know, middle of the week is going to be very volatile. Maybe on Tuesday, we'll see people factoring in the potential, CPI numbers, trying to get ahead of the game. So, we should see a bit of clarity over the next couple of days, but Tuesday and Wednesday are going to be very, very volatile. So that will be impacting the crypto market in a big way. So those are things that we have to kind of keep in mind when we're looking at these technical levels And if we're very far away, we're obviously going to need a big move, and that will most likely come from news, depending on how it goes.
Yeah, and talking about China and the United States, we do have this sort of World War III title looming over our heads as well.
Yeah, we
I
do.
know we
Yeah,
talked about this yesterday, Ben, and
yeah.
a very, very catalytic event for
Oh,
the
I mean, a
whole
war in
world.
Taiwan, like, would be almost certainly World War III, and would destroy the crypto market. And this is something not everybody will know about, but the US has said that they will militarily back Taiwan if China invades Taiwan, to kind of take it back, because they see it as part of their own economy. Also, ton of other reasons. But that's the kind of baseline. And if that happens, we've got World War III on our hands, because US is part of NATO. So the UK, Europe, and all of these NATO countries have to jump in as well. And then you've kind of got World War III, which is insane. So let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I don't imagine much of us crypto heads would be any good in a war. We played a lot of video games, but that's probably it.
Well, Call of Duty might help us out.
Oh, yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I think we'll quickly find out that there's no respawn, and that's it's very serious. But yeah, just a quick one here from Georgios. So why do you think with World War III crypto would be dead? So I think and this is something I mentioned to JJ, to AJ, is that you initially would think, hey, well, actually, that's going to be a good thing, because what we're going to have is a scenario, where Bitcoin is a world currency.
Yeah.
But in reality, if it allowed, let's say the US and China are against each other, if, let's say, we've got the US, let's say US, UK, Europe, whatever. If France, for example, wanted to start sending money to buy certain things from China, well, the US is not going to like that. So what is the alternative payment method that the France, for example, would do business with China? Well, it's going to be Bitcoin, and it's going to be crypto. So obviously the US is going to ban all things crypto, or all things Bitcoin, for example, or at least, say that you can't have a bank account with it, say that you can't, they could go very deep into it, but they say, they could try and stop transactions, stop mining, all of these different things that mean that, the network would be very much disrupted. So I don't think that it would be a good thing. Plus, also in a war, big investors, who, to be honest, are kind of the ones who hold up the crypto market, in a way. I know it's a very sweeping statement, but most of the liquidity does come from institutions. They would go massively risk off, and they would be investing in many different things that are not cryptos. So that would crash the market. I'm not going to say it would end crypto. I don't think crypto would end, but I think it would suffer massively
for a while. And that's the exact question that I asked you yesterday. That was my thinking as well. I thought that, if a country needed money, the quickest way to do it would be sending it via Bitcoin. But I didn't look at the other aspects that Ben's just mentioned there, which is a very, very smart way to look at it.
Yeah, because I mean, it's just that case of they didn't ban transactions with Russia and Ukraine. Network can't stop. Example, waves in Ukraine, so it's dead. Yeah, but I mean, this is where this is just a war between Russia and Ukraine. I think when we look at all of Europe and the US, for example, and also then China, you're tying in the top. Let's say, I don't know, let's 8 out of the top 10, and that's not exact. But this, that many different countries, there's obviously going to be people wanting to trade, food or, wheels or something. We have such a good trade with China. Obviously the US are going to want to shrink their economy as much as possible to win the war, and China's going to want to do the same. So anything that allows trade to happen to support the enemy is going to be really squashed. So obviously at the moment Russia and Ukraine is kind of contained, because it's just one against one. But when we're talking about a world war, obviously China would be bringing in other countries as well. I think it would have a big effect. But interested to hear what you guys have to say, though, because it's something we don't know. Like, no one can predict it.
It's something that we have to take very seriously because it is something that could happen. And
yeah. I think Charlie's got the right idea here, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I got my first one here. Actually, no, I'm going to make the world reserve currency. It's going to be red bottle caps. I'm going to print my name on it or something. Coin. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, let's get back into some technicals quickly, and let's have a look at. Is it theta?
Theta, yes. So theta, I'll mention this in the video. I can't remember when it was. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago?
I believe it was 2 days ago. I want to say.
Yeah,
but could have been yesterday. Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? But I mentioned this chart on theta. This is the daily chart on theta, and you can see that we were trading in this range. Respecting it very, very well. My computer's been a little bit slow today. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, this range has been very, very well respected. Resistance has been respected perfectly, and the support has been respected perfectly as well. And we did, in fact, get a break towards the upside of theta out of this resistance level here yesterday, and that is great news for theta. That means that we can start looking at the price target, which is around $2. Am I getting into a position now with theta? No, not just yet. I am waiting for that retest, because if we pull up the RSI, the stochastic and the stochastic RSI, we can see that the indicators are in that overextended vicinity, meaning that we could have a little pullback before we see any more price action towards the upside. And that's what I do believe will happen. I think we're going to have a pullback and hopefully hold this support level here. It's been major resistance in the past, so it's going to be major support in the future, and hopefully we can find support. Once we find support along this level and we see a nice little bounce, I will then be getting into a long position on theta and riding this up all the way up to approximately $2, which is the price target. So that's what I'm hoping for theta. That's what I'm looking at this moment in time, and I will keep you updated on this chart as well. But if we do break below the resistance, the support level, then this is a confirmed fake out. And what I'll be looking at is, if we break below, I'll be looking at a retest of the resistance. If we get a retest of the resistance and a rejection, then we'll most likely short that all the way down to $1. So there's two ways that we can play this trade. I am looking for the long position because, as I said, we have broken above this resistance level. So hopefully we use it support and hit that $2 target. But we've also got to have a backup plan just in case that does not happen. And that is, if we break below it, we retest it, we get the rejection, then we open up that short position there and we ride that down to $1. The $1 level is a very, very strong resistance level, as you can see. So it's something that I would be looking at. I'll be looking at the price coming down to $1. So that's what I've got for theta. Another one I want to look at is Avalanche. That is about to have a breakout, a nice bullish breakout towards the upside. We could still get a rejection. Don't get too excited. We could still see a rejection from this level, but you can see lots of resistance previously. So if we do break above here, this would be very bullish for Avalanche. This is on the 12-hour chart. If we get that nice pullback, because if we have a look at the indicators, I'm pretty sure, yeah, they're in that overextended vicinity. So if we did break to the upside, I'll be looking for a nice clean break towards the upside. I'll pull back to the support, then I'll get into that position, and then I would ride that all the way up to the price target, which is around $42. But remember, we do have this major resistance level here. But once we do get that breakout, I'll go more in depth into this and talk about the other levels. But firstly, if we do break towards the upside, I will be waiting for the retest. I will not long the break towards the upside. I want to see the retest because the indicators are oversold. Once we get that reset of the indicators and the retest of the support, then I'll be looking for the bounce. Once we get that confirmed bounce, then I will enter that long position and hopefully ride that up to around that $42 level, $40 to $42 level. So that's what I'm looking at on these.
Quite like that.
Yeah,
because if you bring up the indicators again, so the RSI, just the standard, not the stochastic or anything. But,
yeah, the top one here.
Yeah. So the top one, you can see what is it actually at? It must be at what, 60 something? the number?
It is around 63. Yes.
63. So yeah, I mean, it's still within the region. There still is a little bit of a potential to kind of go higher, because it's kind of just the threshold is 70, isn't it? That's where it's considered to be oversold.
Yeah, so we're in that oversold vicinity around 60, but
yeah,
to be properly oversold, it's above 70. We break above that over.
So we could see a bit of a movement to the upside, maybe hit that 70, or a little bit closer, should we say, further to the upside. Yeah. And then that could allow us to have that break above, and then the retest would come down, reset the indicators. And that could be, seems like a very, very potential bullish scenario.
It is.
Also, the price doesn't really have anywhere else to go, does it? It's been squeezed so much.
It has been squeezed so much into this triangle here, exactly. And again, we will be. We want that retest, and we want the confirmed bounce of the retest, because we can get that fake out, and then we'll come back down and most likely test this support level here. You can see has been respected very well. If we break that, then we're looking at the $21 level. If we break that, then we're looking at the $15 level. So we do want to have a nice bullish break and then get that retest before even thinking about getting an entry into Avalanche. It's better to be safe than sorry.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Yeah. So there you go. Just to recap, then let's. What's the two price targets depending on what we have? What is the high and the low initial price targets?
So for Avalanche, if we do break towards the upside, $42 approximately. But remember, we'll be waiting for that retest and that confirmed bounce. And then for Theta, if we do get that confirmed retest, that confirmed bounce, then I'll be looking at the price coming to around $2.
There we go. There you go, guys. So if you haven't seen already, go watch the videos we've done previously on the top 10 altcoins. We did some technical analysis. That's kind of partly where this has come from and where this has evolved from. And also just an overview of what we feel to be some of the best coins for the rest of this year, not really getting into too much around around like NFTs or anything, because the volume's not there. So we've chosen a few different coins that we think are good for the rest of 2022. Make sure you check that video out.
And they're really good projects. Theta, for example, for me is a really, really good project. I think it's going to be a big competitor of YouTube and the other streaming sites. The words have gone out of my mouth now. What's it? Twitch. That's it. Twitch. And then, they've got some big people behind it, co-founder of YouTube. So, we want to look into sort of the stuff behind the actual tokens as well. So make sure, you watch that video.
There you go. And also join us on Twitter if you haven't already.
Yes.
That would be very, very good. Good to keep up to date. And obviously that's where we post most of the content, and come live once a day just to give you a full recap of what's going on. But anyway, like I said, if you do have any ideas or thoughts about what's going on in the markets, and also maybe even about this whole China-US thing and how this might affect Bitcoin as maybe a global currency, it could be a stable coin like USDC that becomes a global currency. I'm quite interested to kind of see this further, because I don't know, I'm just kind of speculating. But I think it raises a lot of really good questions, especially around, crypto. Yeah,
it does.
So drop a comment down below.
And make sure you smash that like button as well. It does help us out a lot.
Go. Yes, smash the like button. See you guys later, and we will be back tomorrow to give you a full idea as to what exactly is going on, or we'll just jump on Monday and kind of tell you how we're setting up for everything that's going on.
Yeah. Thank you very much for watching.
Have a nice weekend, everybody.